Surprises happening already here at Group E, but we are not finished yet by any means, as we have our second series of the night, and it's going to be Harstem versus jjakji.
That's right. We're almost ready to jump right into it here. This is going to be a good one. Last time they played in WCS was in Season 2, was in the round of 32, and it was the group that Harstem just went straight to the top in first place, beating jjakji. And of course, wait a minute, Bunny! 2-1 in each of the series, was in first place. A fantastic result from him.
Yeah, so first map is going to be Nimbus between these two guys. And again, it was their opening game for that previous group. So jjakji is going to be looking at this like, Harstem again? But I can guarantee jjakji is going to be coming very prepared for this.
Yeah, I think he will be. But are we going to see the balls poised today? Or are we going to see a different approach from Terran? Interested to find out.
All right, let's get into it. Game number 1. Nimbus is our map, as we have spawning up to the top right-hand corner. It's our blue Terran. It is My Insanity's jjakji. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our pink Protoss representing Fnatic. It's Harstem.
Harstem. Is it the year of Harstem finally?
Oh, 2014, year of Harstem.
I don't know, man. But Harstem's pretty good against Terran, or has been pretty good against Terran. Let's find out. There is a very common strategy in use in this matchup right now, and it is the good old SCV pull. And the reason why Terrans are doing this a lot is because Colossus play is the main staple opening now of Protoss versus Terran because of the way that Widow Mines work. And it really shuts down the Zealot Archon Immortal heavy style. Is Harstem going to try, you know, to do something different? Like Stargate Oracle or Phoenix play, or maybe something more aggressive? Does he use that normal Colossus play? And if so, does that mean that jjakji is going to be pulling some boys, pulling the SCVs down to try and get the job done? We'll see. There might be a couple of tricks here, whether it be show Colossus but switch fast into Twilight Council tech to be able to go up to Templar Archives. But jjakji, to be honest, is a player that can take it long and can play the game in later stages with the good old Ghost and Viking play, and have good control around that too. But they know each other very well, which is something that's pretty awesome to know. And Harstem can be a tricky guy. If you remember back to his success in WCS against Terran players, I think it started with quite a few Oracles and getting damage done, but it was all about defensive play. Really defensive.
Yeah.
All about counterattacks.
Exactly.
All the times. Pylons everywhere on the map, counterattack this way, defend, and just really drag it out long. And he was actually very good. And Warp Prisms, Warp Prisms as well. He was very good at that style. Very good. Yep,
and that's normally how he was going to do it. I wonder if he could bring it here, but at the same time, tying up your Robo facility with a Warp Prism and stuff like that in this matchup sometimes can be a bit hard, because you have to have those Colossi out to be able to deal with initial pushes from Terran and things like that. And for now, unfortunately for Harstem, he doesn't have much of an idea of what's going on back here. He sees the barracks at the front, so he can pretty much guarantee it's going to be a command center, because you can't have a barracks at that particular time built at that particular speed without something else behind it. So at least he gets a good little bit of information.
I mean, I think that because of the way that Cass is playing today and the way that he went through in first place, it really puts a lot of pressure added on top of this group. Because both players are going to be like, I mean, if Vortex has gone through in first place, it's like, all right, let's beat up on Cass in the low bracket if I lose, and let's just go through to the side of match once again and maybe get my revenge against one guy or beat the other guy. But now it's become a group where Cass is performing, which is a very bad thing for everybody in this group, because now all of a sudden Cass, who probably wasn't looked at as a favorite by anybody to advance through today, is now potentially a favorite to advance through.
Yeah.
And either jjakji or Harstem, if they lose, have to play a guy, you know, or, I mean, have to play Vortex, a guy that's been top 16 every single season he's played in. Every single season. So this group has got a lot more difficult. But we do have from jjakji the command center first, as known by Harstem, followed up by double barracks, and then gases shortly after. And Harstem has chosen robotics facility pretty fast in this game.
And look at this. jjakji is scouring everywhere, but just in case there was a hidden pylon, hidden Stargate, something like that.
I mean, that is, I mean, like I said, they know each other.
Yeah.
And Harstem can be that tricky guy if there was a Stargate somewhere.
He's basically scouted the entire side of his map to make sure that nothing is going on like that.
Yeah, especially because Harstem saw this was command center first and definitely could have reacted and thrown down a Stargate too.
Look at him. He's insatiable. He's just making sure that it's not happening, which is great. I mean,
I wonder if Harstem plays like a double forge style now. He's clearly decided not to be overly aggressive in game number one on this map. He knows he's playing against a command center first here, which is not an aggressive opening from his opponent, clearly. I wonder if he just plays like a double forge style and really sits back on 2 bases.
Yeah, could do.
His gases are coming in really fast on the natural, so this is, you know, he's going to have a lot of gas when he decides what he wants to do, which means he could go double forge. It means he can go forge and twilight counter, armor and a blink upgrade while going Colossus. He has a lot of options available here. A lot of options.
And this SCV now is just going to be hiding out around the third base, making sure that that's not going down at a very rapid speed.
I love how jjakji's like, all right, this guy's either going to proxy oracle me or he's going to take a fast third, which is the 2 things he's scouted for so far.
And it's really cool because jjakji, as long as he's covering these 2 angles, I bet he feels very confident in his abilities to beat his opponent in a straight-up game. Because it's jjakji, he's supposed to be that guy. But again, in the European scene, he really hasn't done as much as he wants to be doing. So he needs to do something here in this season, that's for sure.
And Harstem's definitely a player who's getting more and more results under his name.
Yeah.
And under his belt to his name.
Robo Base on the way. Probably Forge and Twilight Council coming down in just a little bit.
Yeah, now Harstem can wait a little bit. Oh. Yeah, he actually waits and puts these puts a single gateway and a second gateway. One in slight range, unfortunately, but so far it is only Robotics, Bay, and double gateway, 3 gateways. So kind of a safer approach here from Harstem by going for the extra gateways, not extra greed, whether it be Forge, Twilight Council, double Forge.
Yeah.
He's got a great economy. I wonder if he starts to take a third soon. He's got a lot of probes.
There was an interesting, actual second observer placement here for Harstem. I think he was expecting something like a Widowmine drop at his natural because he just basically didn't see anything of his opponent until just now, where his second observer, or first one if you want to look at it like that, got over here. So
you can definitely still squeeze in a Factory and Widowmine play from a CC first.
Yeah. So Harstem taking precautions against something that technically didn't happen, but he's covering all his bases.
And we have a Forge and Twilight Council for Harstem. So Colossus, Blink, or double Forge.
Yeah, double Forge.
Okay, so I thought this might be the case here. And Twilight Council at the same time. So, you know, like I said, the gases were taken solo. He's got a lot of gas to play around with here. Can go double Forge and Blink here. But no commitment to Colossus yet, though. So no Thermal Lance, that is. No second Colossus. Okay, second Colossus is made. Maybe he's going to wait for Thermal Lance to say, right, well, I'm just going to get all my upgrades and then Thermal Lance a lot later on.
Well, he has the gas, right? But again, some of that is going to be going into +1/1 very fast.
Yeah, does he get yeah, okay, Thermal Lance was the last thing you wanted to get because he's like, I'll get all the important upgrades and then Thermal Lance less important because I should be okay to defend and...
Yeah.
It's just a slightly greedy upgrade approach.
I mean, as long as you babysit the Colossus, right? They shouldn't be dying to bio even without Thermal Lance. You just have to micro them and be careful a little bit further. With especially that you have force fields now attached with this as well, with that one sentry. 5
barracks, which is yet to be spotted by Harstem, but he spotted the factory with a reactor on it. So either Widowmines is going to be with this or a second starport's going to be with this. He spots the third now, so that's a good scout from Harstem, but he's got to be very careful here. 5 barracks, not the best observer positioning here. He's only got the 1 in the middle, not above his natural, not below by his main. Must not take damage by anything here.
Oh, if that probe would continue on, he was going to be really, really lucky and spot that double drop, but he didn't in the end. So that's a little bit of a blunder here. He's moving out to clean up an SCV, but uh-oh, this army could get sandwiched. Oh no, okay, so he's moving back, he's retreating. He cannot get sandwiched with this little small force at all.
3 Colossus,
he's
5
wary.
gateways.
He is wary.
Observer sees the army. But look at this. jjakji's going to try and snipe the third here. He spots the army and says, can I do it? Yes, I can.
Looks to push on forwards. Gets the sentry.
Yeah.
Nice
and the thirds. Yeah, really good.
Okay.
Good move there.
That was brilliant. That little snipe out of the sentry alone and then the third. Really, really nice little move. And look at his macro, 142 supply.
Yeah, good, solid game from jjakji here. But the third has to come in immediately here. 2-2 needs to start as well for Harstem. You can afford to lose the third like that. I mean, it's not massive to his play. It's obviously not ideal. But he's just going to continue on being defensive now. Warp Prism is going to be really good for Harstem to put some pressure on jjakji, where it's so far just been a one-way street here. Yeah,
Warp Prism going back to the style that we were mentioning before, and that's basically how he beat jjakji in the past.
Harstem is so far out of position from his natural. He has to be so careful that a drop doesn't come that way, and I think that jjakji might do this.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful opportunity.
Even denying that observer in the middle, it leaves uncertainty now in Harstem's...
Yeah, and he goes back to the middle point between his third and his natural.
Yeah, he has to. Absolutely has to. Look at all of this loading up! Oh my god. And he's actually now dropping like a pylon there. I think he wants to add on cannons, but it's going to be too late.
Even with a photon overcharge, this is going to get destroyed.
Yeah, this is a huge, huge drop. Drops the scan as well, goes straight on in. Tries to blink underneath all of this.
Oh my gosh, TKL. You're making a name for yourself this event, my friend.
Yes, you are. You keep lagging.
Uh-oh, and now you're going to have to go TKL, man. That's 2 games you missed.
Yeah.
2 games you've been kicked out of, unfortunately. This is a bad position.
Okay, so yeah, that's a lot of power behind this drop play. Harstem now has to scramble against that. He's also was defending in the middle with his Colossi, but he hasn't divided up his army properly. jjakji bringing down this Nexus on the natural. Yeah. Brilliant, brilliant play from him to start things off.
151 supply with a capability of 177.
He's actually just ripping up all of this gateway force. He was even on top of a Colossus there for a second. Maybe overstays his welcome for just a little bit there, but...
The thing is Harstem has fantastic upgrades, but it's not even, you know, super good compared to jjakji, who does have 2-2 on the way as well. jjakji's playing a great, great game. He's done a couple of things now that have pushed him further ahead in this game. 22 workers, man. Oh, boy. It's a very, very good game here for jjakji. Harstem's in a lot of trouble, man.
And overall, this Warp Prism hasn't really done anything for
Harstem's just going to attack. I mean, he's so far behind now that he says, whatever, man. I'm going to have 2-2. I'm going to have Zealot charge. Let's see if I can go for it. Currently, there's only 2 Vikings, 4 on the way, so a total of 6 will be soon. Maybe if he can use a bit of resources, whooping some more Stalkers, he can bring down the Vikings and then take a good fight, but... low probability here for Harstem to win this one, the way that jjakji's played it out.
Yeah, 4 Vikings out, 4 more on the way, as all he has to do is spread a good concave and then just hit straight. It's going to be difficult. There's not that many force fields available here. SCVs come with this as well. jjakji's having none of it.
Yeah, he knows. 1 hold and win the game.
Yeah, get off my lawn, he says. Has a lot of these SCVs trying to tank at the back and not really doing a whole lot, but he's on top of the Colossi down to the bottom left. So it's going to be very difficult for Harstem to do anything. Yeah,
a great game here from jjakji to start this one off. And GG well played is called a fast game, only 50 minutes long, but a very convincing game from the Korean here, who is currently in Switzerland, playing from Europe to make sure he has everything optimized on his behalf. But, you know, Harstem approached that series with a very strong attitude, saying, all right, I'm going to play this cool, greedy style, mustn't take losses, but he took losses. Yep. And when you take losses playing this style, that's how you die. It's very simply how you're going to die quite easily.
Yeah, and it's not like, the thing is, it's not like jjakji was ever slowed down on his end, right? So he was playing his own game all game long, and it's like, well, okay, then I guess I'll just hit you in these multiple locations. So good start from jjakji there to get retribution. I really feel
that Harstem should be. I don't think you need to have the Stalkers with that army at all times. I think the best way to deal with that is to have the Stalkers usually always around that natural area.
Yeah.
Because until the Viking count is high enough, you should be able to squeeze out enough sentries and zealots with 3 Colossus to defend any attacks from the ground. The problem is that jjakji was threatening at all times. So there is always arguments to every argument that you make. Is that if Harstem moves down with his zealot sentry Colossus army to prevent the 3rd from being killed, which is that passageway at the bottom, then Harstem can come right from north, right, and then target the Colossus down that way, because it's only 1 sentry, which was sniped early on. So it's a tricky play. It's a tricky play, and only the very best, apparently, are able to pull off double forge play, which is why it's not actually that common, as common as single forge and Twilight Council, because then you can actually afford a lot more units to be able to make sure you don't lose your 3rd.
Yeah, true.
But that's a tricky map. You mean, you get pulled down to your 3rd by you get threatened by an attack which can come from 2 angles. They just pick up and drop to your natural, and you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
And no matter how many cannons you have there, if they drop 5 medivacs like that,
it's still going to do damage.
You aren't stopping it.
Yeah, very, very difficult to deal with there, with the size of the army that jjakji had. And again, the moves. You say, you know, the gas is drawing away from, you know, unit production when he has those double forges. Imagine like an extra sentry or 2. If he was trying to hold at the front, he would have felt more peace of mind and had those stalkers at the back as well. So very, very difficult. So anyway, game number 2 on the way now. Overgrowth is our map. Maybe Harstem will have a little bit more excitement and happiness on this one. We'll find out in just a second.
Excitement and happiness.
Yes.
That's one way to describe how a player is going to enter a series.
All right. Spawning up to the top right-hand corner, everybody decides to lag as we have.
This is actually the best case scenario for all these players. I mean, for the 2 players here, they're like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a regame, though.
Okay, so we're going to regame because we had so many people drop.
Got to get all the multi-language streams in.
Yes.
WCS, a multi-language event. But this is, right now, very scary for Vortex and Harstem, the way that jjakji's playing, the way that Cass are playing.
Yeah.
Very strong games, very solid macro. Execution's been pretty awesome as well. jjakji, I mean, you can almost say that's a flawless game, that previous one.
Yeah, that was really good.
Really no mistakes there from him.
Precise as well. Again, I really liked his engagement at the third as it was going down. So precise. Getting the sentry, pulling back, getting the third, pulling back. And really losing not a whole lot at all. Up until the point where he doom drops the natural. But I mean, yes, you're going to lose stuff there, but you also get a Nexus. I'm okay with that trade if I'm jjakji. All right. So
I would be as well, for sure.
Yeah.
I wonder now, though, does Harstem try to, mess it up a little bit more? Because, I mean, the way that he beat Snoot as well last season was with the Immortal pushes against Zerg, and it really, that nailed him both times. He's been known for his proxy oracles and more so his adaptive play, the faster thirds, the proxy oracles. That game was pretty standard, but I wonder if he does mix it up a little bit now. The next map's going to be Overgrowth, which can be more difficult to mix it up on, especially if that's the playstyle your opponent is expecting. Yeah. There's only a few amount of places you can hide things, especially if you're being opened up by Reaper.
And look how much jjakji scouted out on that last map.
Yeah.
Look, he scouted every single inch. Every single inch. So
and the way that jjakji won that as well is screaming that if I don't die versus anything tricky, I'm going to win.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. All right, let's get into it then. Game number 2 to find out what these two chums are going to be doing. As we have spawning up to the top right, it is our blue Terran, I should say. Jeez, I'm all over the place today. It's my Insanity's jjakji. And down to the bottom left, we have our red Protoss. It's Fnatic's Harstem.
I like to wink with a noise.
That's quite cool.
Funny thing is, though, neither of, well, any of these players in today's group were at the InTouch Masters in Toronto. And the groups have been announced for quite a while now, so they've had quite a bit of time to prepare. And you mean, more so for Harstem's going to have to prepare for 2 Terrans in today's group with a bit of Zerg practice as well. Yep. The Terran players need to prepare for a Zerg and a Protoss, so the practice seemingly would go slightly in favor of Harstem, having to practice for one less race. But I'm sure a lot of time was thrown into the practice for everyone, into today's group specifically. I mean, they all know each other very well and have done for a very long time. Nobody is an unknown in today's group. Everyone, I mean, it's safe to say that, let me think, everyone apart from Harstem has pretty much played it from the very beginning, the game.
Yeah.
And they've known each other for years now.
Yeah, I think so.
And even Harstem, that didn't play from the very beginning, has been playing StarCraft for quite a while now, too. So they all know each other inside out, their style, the way they like to play, their tendencies. So, specific practice can be easier done than not. But jjakji is going to open up Command Center first here. He did that in the previous one, and you'd be more so expecting a Reaper opening here because obviously the strength of jjakji's play is that he's going to have a more, fueled setup coming into the middle part of this game, but he's going to lack scouting abilities. And the only way he can scout is either with a scan, which is unreliable, or with an SCV that somehow is able to find its way inside the base that, Harstem lets slip. So I wonder if this can be exploited by Harstem, whether he cares at all. Let's have a look at his base. He's taken 1 out of gas, which helps his mineral income slightly more, which means he will naturally just take a slightly faster Nexus.
That always helps. That always helps.
He should be cancelling the Zealot here and just going straight for the second.
Yeah, definitely. He was just kind of, I guess, scared a little bit of that SCV.
Think of Flash. Command Center first and Engineering Bay blocks.
Yeah,
so
it's a really, really annoying to play against.
So. It will be a cancel, and he will get that in.
That's nice. Okay, so Harstem just saying, well, I'll try and go toe-to-toe with you, but going up against jjakji that has his Command Center almost done. Being a little bit behind in that regard, it's not what you want to be doing against jjakji. It's clear to me that jjakji, since, I mean, watching him in that first game, since we saw him in the last round of 32, he's booked up his ideas a little bit.
Yes, he has.
Which is good to see, because that's what we expect from jjakji, not bombing out in the round of 32 as early as he did last season.
So as jjakji now, as a Terran, you pretty much want to be saying to yourself, okay, Oracle play comes around, shortly before 7 minutes, so I should be wanting to have Marines around the mineral line at that point. DTs is not that much further either. 7:30-ish, depending on how fast Harstem does it, of course. And then blink play can vary, depending on how fast the blink plays, how many gateways it is. So these are all the things that, you know, jjakji needs to just think about with natural defensive timings. There's a Marine scouting around to the top left, all the way around to see if there's any probe pylon or structure hidden. And apart from that, the only other way he's going to scout is via a scan. And, I mean, in jjakji's vision, he's only seen 2 out of the 3 pylons in his opponent's base, so he doesn't know that there could be something hidden up north here. But the robotics facility is directly in the middle, which means if jjakji was to scan soon in the main base of his opponent, he's going to see the robo.
Yeah, if he scanned in where I'm circling now, I mean, because you do see a lot of pylons up to that top left, right, in this matchup, in this game in general. I think that would be the most ideal place for jjakji to scan, because he would actually see the robo, as well as that top left-hand corner. But we'll see that in just a bit. As for now, he's just adding on the engineering bay behind this, so no super fast upgrades out of him, but it'll come in just a little second.
Engineering bay is quite fast, because it's for a turret if need be.
Yeah.
He has enough energy to scan now, but he decides to mule. Okay. Interestingly, that's usually where you'd see a player scan, but I guess he doesn't seem to care as much and is willing to risk it a bit here. Concussive shells are on the way, and as noticed, there's no Marines in the mineral lines. If an Oracle swung around to the main or natural, or I notice how he's actually a little bit prepared for this now with 4 Marines in the main and a turret on the natural, so he is preparing his timings around that 7-minute point, as I mentioned. He's got an SCV that's hopefully going to swing around to spot if there's a 3rd here, I think, down to the bottom right.
I'm going to try.
And Marines on the Xel'Naga if units were moving out. So you can see how he's kind of naturally preparing for a lot of different types of attacks. And now past the 7-minute mark, he's pulling, you know, all his Marines away. He spots no 3rd, still no idea what's going on, but decided to go for concussion shouts early anyway. So now he's going to actually put some pressure onto his opponent. Yeah,
he's doing really good at anticipating everything. An observer will spot the small army in the middle of the map. In fact, spotting almost all of it. As Harstem now just has to go back to his natural, throw down the photon overcharge and deal with that. But he actually only had 1 gateway worth of production here. So
3 Stalkers going to get a bit of damage in. You just need a photon overcharge, pull the probes back if they dart for the mineral line, which it looks like they are going to. So yeah, pull the probes back.
Going to try and get on top of things. Actually just trade away the gateway units during all of this.
Fantastic
good force field.
Yeah, great positioning for that. Right in between the pylon and ramp. And that's dealt with rather well. No probes killed. A single Stalker, that was it. That was a good defense there. Yes, it was. And now, Harstem here, just getting at his first Colossus. So by the time that photon overcharge dissipates, not only will he have a second one, but he's going to have the Colossus out. And that's a lot of gateways here for Harstem. He needs to turn his gateways on, the 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah.
Because he could, technically, if this goes in again, warp in another round of Stalkers and actually put pressure back onto these units.
Yeah.
I mean, he's warped in 1 more Stalker. He's going to have a quick look. He's like, oh, there you are again. Oh, Harstem!
Okay, by Stalker. jjakji doesn't want to overstay his welcome.
Yeah.
Just goes straight on out there.
Okay, so he defends that, and jjakji will need to go back now, because there's more than enough units to kill anything off again if he went in.
Sees the extra barracks being added on before that 3rd command center, so that's good sign there.
Yeah, good scout. Good scout by Harstem.
Harstem has a lot of vision available to him, which is helping him out a lot. But the 3rd command center is planted on position, so it's going to take him a little while to spot that.
Well, Harstem's currently at a low probe count and no upgrade structures, so it's currently only at Gateway, Stalker, Colossus.
And there's a probe moving out on the right-hand side to throw down a pylon. So
Yep. He's planning an attack.
Yep. Here we go. Gonna break down these rocks a little bit.
He's definitely planning an attack.
He really now doesn't want to overstay his welcome in the middle of the map.
So it's very good that this probe must not go into range of the Xel'Naga tower.
I think it does.
No, he swung around the right way.
Oh, did he actually go?
Well, he almost did, yes, but then he swung around.
Okay.
So he's hidden that out.
Oh, and it's also the pylon has been completely hidden as well.
Yep, very good so far.
And he sees the medevacs moving out through the middle. He sees all of these units moving out through the middle.
If he catches these units with force fields.
Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to say before. He cannot stick around. He cannot stick around. He has to go for a defensive position.
He could trap them on the ramp.
Force field.
He's going to trap them. He's got them trapped.
Oh, jeez. Where are the medevacs? You need to try and catch some of this. But he's not going to.
Very good by Harstem.
The medevacs were too slow to react.
Very good. And now, go. Bunkers must be made. jjakji obviously realizing as soon as the unit's out there aggressively, this is Harstem's chance to equalize up. So far, he's done this very well. There are no Vikings in the game. Only 2 just now been made, and there's so many blinking Stalkers.
Yeah, they are.
They're actually not blinking because they don't have blink, but...
English people understood you. Other people didn't. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to pull SCVs to this. This is going to be a very, very, very difficult hold here.
Yeah.
Widow Mines can be useful, but there is an Observer.
Still force fields available here.
Yeah.
He can. Oh, the Bioforce is just trapped on this left. He could throw down force fields perfectly to seal these guys off. There's one. And this is going to be very difficult for jjakji to keep on holding. Oh, even brings all the SCVs, knowing that that's a problem. Guardian Shield went up on one of the sentries, died instantly. Second Guardian Shield will hold this off with a few force fields as well. Not that many Zealots, though, to tank against it, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the Colossus are doing so much damage.
I just what too well executed, and we're actually losing a lot of army supply in the middle of the map. This is what happens.
Yeah.
Time Warp is going to come down, and
SCVs even came from the main here to try and hold this off.
There's still 3 Colossus here.
Yeah, they're just going untouched. Completely untouched. The SCVs, yes, held everything up for the Bio to try and push through, but even that isn't enough. Too much damage has been done.
Yeah, that last Colossus survived.
Jeez.
Harstem's not going to let this escape him easily here against his little rival, his friend here. But this is going to go his way here. There's almost no way here that jjakji can hold it. It's almost impossible, per se, with the lack of income that he now has.
13 SCVs against this. The mining has been crippled. jjakji, Harstem, if he wants to, can take a third behind this. So much damage has been done.
Yeah, this is very good news here for Harstem. Very well executed. And fortunately here for jjakji, lack of information for too long in this game against what this cheeky Dutchman was doing. This selfie-taking Dutchman.
Just like his selfies. GG ties it up 1-1 as Harstem doing all right there.
Yeah, and that's what, you know, jjakji needs to be very careful of these tricky little plays that can come out here from Harstem, as he does have a lot of them up his sleeve. So, you know, coming into the third game, you know, more especially, we've got to be careful about that.
All right, so on to the third map in just a little bit here. Pretty cut and dry in the end, I think, that second game. Ultimately, I think if jjakji had a little bit more bio back at home that he lost in the middle, could have held on for a little bit longer, but he still would have been down in terms of Viking counts because he just saw it too late. Very difficult.
Yeah, you know, keeping a couple more units there a little bit longer, getting the bunkers down, and just there's things you can do for sure. But unfortunately for him, he didn't really know, had no idea. And that is a big problem when it's coming at you so fast. But if that was to be held, if there's bunkers down, I think we saw Flash held off a lot of these at the Intel Extreme Masters this past weekend, different types of attacks like this. And they are very possible to hold, but unfortunately so just seen a little bit too late there. And nothing to delay either because he lost so much. So.
Going into game 3 here, Foxtrot Labs, after what we saw in game number 1 with jjakji overpowering with his macro, then we saw game number 2, Harstem going for a 2-base Colossus, just straight all in, as it were, until he does damage, of course. Game number 3, jjakji here has to be anticipating the trickery. He already was in game number 2. He was scouting out for proxies and things like that. He's going to be anticipating the idea of a Colossus push or something like that. Do you think we see Harstem go even more aggressive with something like an Immortal push? Or
it's been quite common on this map to be able to do that, especially from bottom left to top right, just coming through the middle. But I really feel that jjakji needs to be opening up Reaper against Harstem here. You know, it does hurt your economy a little bit, but you don't need to gain a massive advantage with your economy if you're a very good player, which he is. And, you know, in comparison to these, in a heads-up game, it looks like jjakji is the better player, but you know, without the Reaper, he's definitely vulnerable. So I would imagine that he just play a very heavy scouting game here. So SCV and Reaper in combination, try to get a feel of what Harstem's up to, and then once you do have a feel and find out what he's up to, scans as well. I mean, we lack of scans in that previous game. He must not take his opponent for granted here. He's capable of anything, whether it be the proxy Stargate, you know, this Colossus all-in, a random Immortal link can creep in. There's a lot of different strategies that Protoss can do. So without the knowledge, you know, he will lose. So he's got to be very, very careful. And I think the best way, as mentioned, is to play the Reaper Expand. On Harstem's side of things, I would imagine he'd try a maybe normalized game here.
Okay.
Because I feel that jjakji is going to be on top of things this time, because it's 1-1, because of the way that Harstem played there. 1 Forge, 1 Twilight Council, not too greedy, you know, not too safe. You know, in the middle. Armor upgrades, blink, a decent amount of gateway units, take your third at a good time, be careful of SCV pulls, and I think he'd be set. But, you know, Harstem, like I said, he's a crazy guy. He can do anything.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, he kind of has to against jjakji here. So we're just waiting now to get into game number 3 between these two. And I think all our observers are in and good to go.
Yeah, it's just Harstem asked for a minute.
Okay.
2 minutes to pop to the little boy's room.
Yes.
And then we'll be able to begin this.
So we did.
Yeah, so as he does his thing, I'm sure he'll be thinking about what to do here coming in. But we'll see. I'm a very conservative player here. A lot of players like to take the risks. I always wouldn't do it here, personally.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other professionals out there that wouldn't take a risk in this position and would prefer to play it out, you know, in a good way. But there are players who are willing to risk it and saying, all right, there is this weakness that I can exploit. I can do this.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those. But maybe Harstem definitely can be.
I think he could. But, well, we'll find out in a little bit.
I mean, this is a very important game now for jjakji. Because he's ranked 11 in WCS, a loss here puts him down to the lower bracket to go up against a player he's played many times before in in Vortex, play himself, against Vortex. And if he gets eliminated today, his BlizzCon hopes are starting to, you know, drain away.
Yeah.
I mean, he's ranked 11 right now, but he doesn't have a lot of points. He's not guaranteed to go to BlizzCon yet.
Yeah, absolutely needs the points. You're right. So let's get into it. Spawning up to the top right, we have our pink Protoss. It is Fnatic's Harstem, tying it up. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our red Terror, and it's my Insanity's jjakji. But yeah, I also agree. I think he really, really has to put out the performance today. A loss here in this group would be a bit of a catastrophe. There is no way he can kind of go home with that. He needs to solidify his place at BlizzCon because it's so important. That's what everybody is working to at the end of the day. There's only 16 players allowed, guys. There's not much more than that.
I mean, it's happening every day, every weekend right now that players are dropping, not out, but dropping out of the running. Spoiler alert, incoming in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Partying and Morrow this morning. You know, both potentially still in the run for BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Neither of them are playing at Casper Cup, which is the only tournament left in Korea to gain points now if you're eliminated from GSL.
Big points.
Big points.
Yeah.
Neither of them are in it. Both of them not in top 16. Neither of them really close, to be honest. They're not going to BlizzCon. Unless magically we see those two players go to DreamHacks, then... And then, spoiler alert, now back on if you listen again, so you're fine. But it's very important right now.
No, I agree. But the thing is also that Casper Cup, for me right now, is the big decider. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. First place takes 1,500 points away. That is massive. There's only been one more of those tournaments, which was the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, outside the WCS the seasons, Casper Cup is the tournament right now that the people are wanting points from. It's really going to shake things up in the next month or so as things continue. It's going to be crazy.
Unfortunately, neither of these players
are in it.
But yeah.
jjakji's teammate is Stardust, and guess who he has to play first round?
Yeah.
Flush. So, unlucky for him, but there you go.
So I do like the approach here from jjakji to switch into this. This is so important, I feel. SCV Scout, Reaper Scout, just over to the command center. It doesn't need to play factory at all. Can just go into barracks play. That's fine. He's delaying the Nexus quite a bit here. For all the hit points his SCV is worth. And he is going to escape out. So nice delay on that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So gets away. Did he end up spotting anything? Didn't really spot the command center going down, but did spot the Reaper now on the way.
He knows that this is going to be pretty standard opening.
Yep. Poking away. Here comes the Mothership Core to try and deny that. And she does. Good job, lady. Good job.
So there is a pylon up to the north here by Harstem, which has been a popular destination for the structure of choice to be placed on. Much harder to scout. You're not really going to see a scan up there very often. This pylon has not been spotted either by jjakji.
He spotted really one pylon if you consider spotting the cybernetics core a big
Stargate?
thing. So
no, okay, Robo.
There's Robo. Actually, in range of the one pylon that jjakji currently knows about, at least.
Okay, 3 barracks. Another... Oh, okay, Marine looking around. I thought it was another SCV. Marine looking around in case there is anything on that left-hand side. Reaper taking a look on the right-hand side.
Yeah, he's so good about this, actually. I love seeing someone take so much precaution.
Yeah. But Harstem's so far playing that conservative, middle-of-the-road style so far. Depending on his level agreed shortly. He could still, you know, go for an Immortal attack from this. Could go for his Colossus push still. Viable strategies. I would like to see one Twilight, one Forge. But we'll see. He has that choice to make very soon. And the Reaper's going to try and get some more info, because this is the part of the game that jjakji doesn't know about, is that tech choice. He's going to swing into the main.
Some good information.
And should spot it, yeah.
Okay.
So spots the Robo, and he gets a full look around as well.
Yeah, sees it starting without Chrono Boost into it, so he's probably just saying, well, Observer, okay.
Is that cool? I'm glad I saw this, because I don't need to worry about anything right now. But what we do need to worry about is the push out from jjakji. A Marauder and a handful of Marines. Currently 2-3 Stalkers and Foot and Overcharge.
Did he see double Chrono Boost into the Nexus whilst he went around with that Reaper?
More than likely.
Okay, so yeah, he should be knowing what's going on.
Robotics Bay is the choice to start up with, to get that Colossus instantly in the game, more so than switching around for the Forge and Twilight, so this is completely standard.
Nice, nice. Double tech flaps for the combat shields and the stim on the way.
Yeah, quite Marauder heavy here.
Yeah. Sees the army in the middle, so he should be able to hold on against it. He has 3 Stalkers. Mothership Core has enough energy for the Photon Overcharge to push this away.
Yeah, and if he needs, he can warp in a 4th Stalker if he really feels the need.
Yeah, so he should be all right. There's the Photon Overcharge. Denies that for quite a while. And that actually has to pull away. There's not much more he can do. Why are these units on the left-hand side over here? What was he expecting?
Not sure. Pylon probe. With Stim and Combat Shields both on the way at the same time here, obviously not only Marauder heavy, but very upgrade heavy quite early, which means it's harder for him to get the Engineering Bay down faster and or Factory. So this Bioforce that jjakji is building, Harstem's got to be not overly greedy here. It's something he doesn't know about yet, but will do soon. And he's got to be very careful and not take no third, no fest. He's got to chill. He could even, you know, lose the Nexus or something soon. There's a lot of units.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Marauders.
2 sentries added on to deny the push through those rocks if they were going to come. But he sees it at the front as well, so he could even force field this round.
Combat Shields is done. He's got to be very careful right now.
Yeah, he can't force field anymore.
Very dangerous army.
All right, another Photon Overcharge gets forced instantly.
Forge and Twilight Council. Yes, this is what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Middle of the road. First Colossus almost out.
Just the normal game here. Buys himself enough time. Second Forge. Second Forge. That's a lot of gas he's going to be committing to that.
Oh, second Forge. Okay, so he's actually going to attempt a game number 1.
Yeah.
I'll be very, 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 very careful here. 3, 4 sentries. A couple of Zealots at the front now. Harstem has good vision of his main ramp, which he knows the units are roughly around.
I mean, overall, big question. When is he going to take his third with this double Forge play?
What bio there is!
It's a lot.
So careful. No Photon Overcharge.
Yeah, it's going to be gone. It's going to be gone.
If he loses the Nexus, man, you have to be so bloody careful here.
This bio is moving in. He sees the army.
Force fields have to be good.
Oh, and he's
patient.
That's so good as well to draw him out of position.
No,
he took it out of the Colossus. Doesn't get it in the end there. Gets the sentries though, trying to get around to that Colossus. It's been pinned down. A great move there by jjakji, but the second one's down.
But he mustn't take too much losses here. All the sentries are gone already. The other Colossus is going to get targeted down. No!
Ah! Move back, move back.
Oh, good.
Okay,
good
enough firepower.
And so far, okay. Obviously, very worrisome for Harstem. Very tense moment there.
The 2 sentries that he had there really were the linchpin. They had to throw down those force fields, deny that bio from actually fully getting on top of that Colossus. And imagine if it had only been game 1 with only 1 sentry. That would have been a bit of a disaster.
But unfortunately, because he lost those sentries, he can't really afford new ones. I mean, he's going to get 1 more, but if he does try to get more, it's going to halt his maybe 3rd Colossus here. It's going to hurt his upgrades.
Exactly. And look how delayed his +1 is. So, like, he had to decide, do I get +1? Do I have those extra sentries in that army? That was a little bit difficult for him to make that decision in the end. And now, jjakji behind this, 3rd base on the way. Going to be flying away with income in just a little bit. And Harstem, how is he going to really... Well, he should be able to take a 3rd with these 2 Colossi now, right?
Ooh, I don't know.
You don't think?
No, you could get surrounded again. The 3rd is very open.
No, you're right. He's
got to play this so carefully. I mean, it's all about just surviving at this part of the game.
But then if he doesn't take a 3rd base, how is he going to...
Well, it's okay, though. I mean, the 3rd of jjakji is quite far behind, so he's all right for now.
And he sees it with the Observer, at least, on this left-hand side.
Ooh, a switch from Colossus to Templar.
Ooh, all right.
And Immortals. So, interesting switch. But right now, he's just got to thinking about being dropped and not dying, because his upgrades are his game. That's his strategy, right? Double upgrades.
Oh, okay. So he just barely spots that medevac on the right-hand side. I mean, the medevac was swinging to the very edge.
Great pick off. Well done, Harstem.
Very well done.
Unfortunately there for jjakji. Observed. He got observed.
Nicely done.
And now is the time to take a 3rd, because you killed that medevac. That's quite a lot of units here.
Going to try and drop on the left-hand side as well, but the army is positioned to be able to deal with that. And is he going to throw a pylon on the high ground here? Is Harstem?
Yeah, notice how Harstem's actually kept his Stalkers away from the army this time, like he, well, didn't do in the game 1.
And you would argue should have been done in the first game.
But it's a different kind of scenario here. There's different it's a different setup for defending the third.
Yeah. I see this army leering out on in the middle of the map as well, so...
We are going to see SCVs pulled in this game. And this is very good for Harstem. I'm looking at jjakji's base. That's it. Double starport.
Yeah.
No engineering base. He's already got Storm on the way. There is going to be Ghost with this. It's going to be like the 3 Ghost push again. Or should I not really say again, but the 3 Ghost push. But Storm is going to be out in here. There's only 2 Colossus. There's a lot of Vikings here. jjakji hasn't picked up the scout of the switch.
What's he really seen?
Nothing. He hasn't seen the Immortal, which has been tucked away. He hasn't seen High Templar, and he still thinks it's Colossus heavy.
Yeah, everything that's been sold to him across the initial tech.
This is very good for Harstem.
He has 3 High Templars at the back as well, already accruing energy. This is good. This is very good.
Obviously, he still needs to avoid the EMPs, but
yeah,
it's a good setup for him.
If he can avoid those, that would be strong. But at the same time, jjakji, how is his army looking? Army supply is nice, but again, all it takes is just a few storms to bring us down.
And Harstem is probably guessing it is going to be this SCV push, by the way. He already knows, probably.
And he didn't, that one Marine did not see the extent of his opponent's army. He only saw a beam of a Colossus, and that's really it, not much more.
Pretty sure Harstem's getting ready to defend an SCV pull, because he isn't taking gases on his third. He's going to have a lot of minerals for just dumping to Zealots here.
Here come the boys.
2 Immortals. Here we go. And Harstem knows this is coming. He even spots it with his Observer. So now you just have to spread your High Templar, make sure to land a Storm. You have to land a Storm here.
Yeah, they have to be spread out, though, as well, because right now they're all in big clump. Four High Templars at the same location.
He can sack his third. I mean, you can sack it here. You don't need to defend your third.
And I think that's probably the wise move. I think his natural's easier to defend here than this third base.
Yeah, look, he's mined quite a bit from that third, and now he's just going to pull some probes back.
Sending some Zealots down to do some harassment at the natural if they can wiggle around.
He knows what to do, but can he do it now, Harstem? If he does, he's going to the winner's match against Cass. A very unlikely winner's match.
6 High Templars now. 2 without enough energy, 2 drop down storms, but he separates 1 forwards. Has to be very, very careful about how he does this. The factory has actually spotted the High Templar positioning. That storm, the positioning of it really covers this position beautifully. He tries to drop a feedback on one of these ghosts, gets 1. SCV's now flipped through, has to be careful. Nice storm to really start things off here. There's still more High Templars at the back. A few snipes. She has another nice storm. A second storm in all of that, but hasn't killed him enough of the bio off there.
Is he? Is still got 3 more? 1 more storm. That was good. And everything is so low. He's got so many models.
GG! Harstem with great High Templar control in the end there. Make sure that they are not picked off by those ghosts.
I'm going to the winners match in this group, but before that, let me take a selfie. Harstem is through to the winners game. Congratulations. And you know, he switched away from Colossus nice and early. He had lots of intel on his opponent. And he played the middle of the road style, not too greedy, you know, not too safe. It was perfect. Everything went well for him in that game. And he's able to get another win over jjakji. And that actually extends it over 2 seasons now for Harstem to be 2-0 over jjakji. Congratulations to him. A well-played out series.
Harstem is becoming quite the nemesis of jjakji here in WCS Europe.
Yeah.
And that now means we have the complete upside down of what everybody was predicting in this group. We have Cass versus Harstem in the winners and Vortex or jjakji in the losers. One of those is going to be eliminated in the round of 32 already.
I mean, if Vortex dies here, it's like, all right, whatever. I lost in the round of 32 for the very first time in 2 years. Damn it. All right, let me move on to something else. If jjakji loses this, he's running the risk of not attending BlizzCon. Currently ranked 11th in the system. He needs the extra points from this. And as mentioned before, if things go to plan for him, he's currently sat at 90%, 91% going to BlizzCon. A loss here in the last place drops 20%. And players like Flash, like Snoot, who want to climb further up, other players that are looking to sneak in, will start to threaten his position in the top 16.
Yes, they will. And now, after the break, we have what seems very strange in my mind, but it's going to be the losers match between Vortex and jjakji.